Today we're going to talk about mental factors. This is from the consciousness-only school of Buddhism. It talks about the working of our minds to get rid of our defilements and afflictions and transform our ignorance consciousness into wisdom. Now let's look at the 5 universal mental factors and 5 particular state mental factors. First, look at the 5 universal mental factors. It's called universal for 4 reasons. 1, it happens all the time. 2, it happens in all places. 3, it happens in all 8 consciousnesses. And 4, it happens in all 3 natures of karma. It happens all the time. That means no matter which realm you're in this reincarnation, whether you're a saint or a mundane, you all have these 5 universal mental factors. Number 2 is in all places. Doesn't matter which realm you're in, you will have these mental factors. Number 3, it happens in all 8 consciousnesses. Your eye consciousness, your ear consciousness, nose, tongue, body, mind. These are your 6 consciousnesses. Number 7 is your manas, your 7 consciousness. That's how you perceive the idea of the self. That's your ego. Then you have the 8 consciousness, the big storehouse. All 8 consciousnesses have these 5 mental factors. Number 4 is universal in 3 natures of karma. 1 is wholesome, 2 is unwholesome, 3 is neutral. In all 3 states, you will have these mental factors. Now let's look at these 5 mental factors. Number 1 is attention. You pay attention to a certain sense object. For example, if you're in a party, there's lots of people talking, you will focus your attention on one person that you're talking to. Sometimes when you're eating, you don't taste the food that you ate, or you're listening to the radio, but the song already passed, but you didn't hear anything. That's because this mental factor of attention is not working. We want to bring our attention to the mental object we want to focus on. In Reader's Digest, there was a funny story. A young girl, she got her first paycheck. She was very happy, so she went to the mall and got herself a beautiful hat. She went home hoping her mom will praise her for the beautiful hat. But mom was busy cooking, didn't say anything, didn't even notice. At dinner time, she showed her dissatisfaction. Mom asked, "What is wrong with you?" She said, "I bought this beautiful hat with my first paycheck, but you didn't even notice." Mom said, "Oh, I got my hair permed today. You didn't notice either." So everybody only notice what they want to notice. We want to choose the mental object that we pay attention to. That is called proper attention when we are meditating or focusing on a mental object. Number 2 is contact. This contact is our 6th sense organ, contact with 6th sense objects. Then we develop 6th sense consciousness. That's how we experience this world. Our eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and mind. That's the 6th sense organ come in contact with the 6th sense objects of sight, sound, smell, taste, touch, and dharma. Then we develop 6th sense consciousnesses. That's how we experience this world. One day there was a little wasp on the floor. I picked it up and prayed for it, chant Amitabha for it. By coming in contact with this wasp, I feel the impermanence of life. That contact was a special experience for me. We have the ability to choose the sense object we come in contact with. Number 3 is our feelings. When we have contact, we will develop feelings. There are 3 general kinds of feelings. 1 is pleasurable feeling, 2 is unpleasurable feeling, 3 is neutral feelings. Pleasurable feelings is when you want it to repeat over and over again. Unfavorable feelings is when we want to be apart from it. There is a monkey who was being massaged by a lady. Because he liked it so much, every time the lady tried to stop, he would grab her hand and put it on his head, wishing for more massage. It's a pleasurable feeling for the monkey. So he wants it to repeat over and over again. So we can actually choose the feeling. It's all up to us to feel pleasure or pain. Number 4 is perception, our distinguishing thoughts. Our feelings will affect our perceptions or vice versa. Every situation we can choose to have positive, wholesome thoughts. For example, we should always choose to be kind instead of being right all the time. We can choose to be grateful instead of complaining. We can choose not to be offended and always live in a friendly, happy world. And we can choose to look at other people's good qualities instead of looking at people's faults. Always choose to be positive and wholesome, and we will create positive karma for us. Number 5 is deliberation, careful contemplation. It's also called a mental urge. Mental urge to take physical or verbal actions. This is how we start taking action and create karma. It has 3 stages. 1 is planning, 2 deciding, 3 taking actions. Our deliberation goes through these 3 steps before we take action to speak or move. Again, we want to choose wholesome actions and speeches. There was a man in a very crowded street. All of a sudden, it started pouring rain. He saw a lady in a wheelchair. He had an umbrella, so he put the umbrella over the lady and escorted her all the way home. His deliberation helped him decide to take this action of giving. This is through planning, deciding, and taking action. Every one thought goes through these 5 mental factors. So it's shorter than the instant, but when we talk about it, it's in 5 different mental factors. By understanding the details of our mind, we are able to choose positive, wholesome thoughts and change our karma, change our life for the better. Now let's look at the 5 particular state mental factors. These 5 factors are not like the universal mental factors. These 5 all have to happen, and it happens in this sequential order. But these 5 do not happen all the time. They only happen in specific situations. Number 1 is intention. Intention only happens when we have pleasurable states. Only things that you like, you will have positive intention. You'll be motivated to keep doing it. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by fame. Some people are motivated to meditate. Everybody is motivated by different states, but all has to be pleasurable state. So whatever gives you pleasure is what motivates your life to take action. What is the subject of your motivation is very important. Number 2, resolution. Resolution only happens in state requiring decisiveness. In this state, when we are trying to decide, we will make a firm conviction, strong belief about certain things. All these can be wholesome or unwholesome, depending on the subject. For example, we might have resolution about Pure Land Buddhism. You believe that chanting the name Amitabha is the most powerful mantra, and once we're chanting, we are immediately aligned with our Buddha nature. There was a grandma chanting Amitabha, but her grandson think it's very annoying, so he played a joke on her. One day he started saying, "Grandma, grandma, grandma." In the beginning, grandma thought it was very sweet and cute, but he kept doing it, so she said, "Please stop, this is very annoying." The grandson said, "See, if you keep chanting Amitabha, Amitabha will be so annoyed too." Grandma, she retrogressed and stopped chanting. That means she doesn't have strong resolution about Pure Land Buddhism. So we have to decide, make a firm determination and conviction about a certain subject. Number 3 is mindfulness. Mindfulness is with states already experienced. For example, if you look at a Buddha picture, once you close your eyes, you still have the image in your mind. Or you hear a song, after you stop listening to it, you still have the melody in your mind. That's because we have this mental factor of mindfulness. It always remembers states that you have experienced before. This is very useful because in our meditation, we have a method called visualization or contemplation. Our mind is very powerful because it remembers. If you want to visualize the Western Pure Land, you can study the 16 Contemplation Sutra that will teach you how to meditate on Amitabha's Pure Land. This is very powerful when we remember. We can go into deep meditation with our visualization. Number 4 is concentration. This is with states one contemplates on. You have a state object that you want to focus on. Some people are very focused on their career. They have a strong mental factor of concentration. They're most likely to succeed in their career. Some people are very concentrated on playing video games because their mental factor is very strong. Some people are stronger, some people are weaker. If we have a strong concentration in chanting the name Amitabha, we will reach single-pointed awareness, or we call it Buddha Remembrance Samadhi. All these can be wholesome or unwholesome, depending on the subject that you focus on. A thief can be very concentrated in stealing, but that would be unwholesome. But his concentration can be very strong as well. So all depending on your subject of awareness. Number 5, wisdom. This wisdom is not the wisdom of prajna. This wisdom means your ability to make judgments. It's your distinguishing awareness. You can distinguish what's good, what's bad. For example, a thief can have a strong wisdom mental factor and how to steal. Everybody has their secret of how to do a certain subject. That's the wisdom. So it can be wholesome or unwholesome. States one contemplates on. Whatever you focus on and contemplate on, that's the subject. In conclusion, all dharmas have no self. All these mental factors, you don't see a me or I. There's no such thing. The I that we think of is a pseudo-self. It's only our ego. We want to get away from the ego and go back to our Buddha nature, our true suchness. The only way is to become wholesome and purify our consciousness. Turn from contaminated to purity. That's when we reach enlightenment. Change our ignorance consciousness into wisdom. So it's from everyday experience. Be aware of these mental factors. Watch your thoughts. Pick wholesome thoughts instead of defilements, afflictions, greed, anger, ignorance. Turn your life around. Change from a mundane to a saint. That's what Buddha wants us to cultivate. So this is Chinese New Year. We should really use our time wisely, diligently, watching every one of our mental factors. If you're unaware of how your mind is functioning in everyday life, there is no way you can change yourself. So in this new year, hopefully we can all make this a wonderful year of enlightenment.